Dear students, see the next one. It's an interesting question. When the momentum of the body increases by 10%, its kinetic energy is increases by. So momentum is 10% is increasing. Then what about in kinetic energy? That is the question. So please listen. How to approach this question? First, we should observe the option, all the option in the percentage. So surely they are asking the percentage, especially increasing percentage. So generally how to find the percentage? Output value divided by input value into 100. So here the kinetic energy, so we can find change in kinetic energy divided by initial kinetic energy. Okay, kinetic energy, change in kinetic energy divided by initial kinetic energy into 100. So this only we are going to calculate. So change in kinetic energy is nothing but final kinetic energy, that is kinetic energy 2 minus kinetic energy 1 divided by initial kinetic energy, that is kinetic energy 1 into 100. So this only we are going to calculate. Okay, so initially what is given? When the momentum of the body increases by 10%. So we must know the relationship between kinetic energy and momentum. So usually kinetic energy we know. So first I can start with kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is equal to half m v squared. Okay, but here there is no momentum concept. So we want to derive momentum concept. So what we'll do? Very simple. Multiple and divide by mass in this equation. So we can write kinetic energy is equal to m into m squared. So m squared v squared divided by 2 into m 2m. Okay, so we know that momentum P is equal to mv. So p squared v squared we can write m squared v squared we can write p squared, momentum squared. So momentum squared divided by 2m. So the relationship between kinetic energy and momentum is, that is kinetic energy is equal to momentum squared divided by 2m. So this is one of the important formula. So here the mass is constant, 2 is constant. So we can write as generally the kinetic energy is directly proportional to the momentum squared. So based on this concept, now I can write kinetic energy 1, that is initial kinetic energy, divided by kinetic energy 2, that is final kinetic energy. That ratio we can write as P1 squared divided by P2 squared. So based on this equation I can write like this. So next step I can write here. Okay, I can write here. Listen. So P1 is the initial momentum, P2 is the final momentum. So what are the changes is there in this question? In this question, when the momentum of the body increases by 10%. Okay, so initially some momentum is there, but final momentum is 10% increased from initial momentum. So how we can write? Right, I'll write here. Initial momentum is P1. Final momentum is P2. P2 means what? P2 means what? Initial momentum plus 10% of initial momentum. 10%, 10% of initial moment. Okay, so this combination only final momentum. அப்போ final momentumங்கிறது என்ன? Initial momentumத்தோட 10% increase ஆயிருக்கு. So I can write P2 is nothing but P1 plus 0 0 cancel 1 divided by 10, that is 0.1. So 0.1 P1. So here 1 P1, here 0.1 P1. Therefore P2 is equal to 1 plus 0.1, that is 1.1. So 1.1 P1. So now P2 value is ready. So just to substitute here, we can write kinetic energy 1 divided by kinetic energy 2 is equal to P1 squared. As usual, write P1 squared divided by P2 squared. P2 is nothing but what? 1.1. So 1.1 P1. So now the whole square. So again we can simplify P1 square divided by 1.1 whole square, that is 121, that is 1.21. 1.21 P1 square. Here P1 squared get cancelled. So we can write kinetic energy 1 divided by kinetic energy 2 is equal to 1 divided by 1.21. Okay, but in this question, when the momentum of the body is increases by 10%, its kinetic energy, that is its increasing kinetic energy value asking in percentage, with percentage. So we know already, I gave already this idea, that is change in kinetic energy divided by initial kinetic energy into 100. Okay, shall we write now? Yes, therefore increasing kinetic energy in percentage is equal to final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy divided by initial kinetic energy into 100. Okay, right. So I can write kinetic energy 2, that is final kinetic energy what? 1.21 minus initial kinetic energy. So simply I can write, that is one time actually what? So see, in this question, in this equation, I can write cross multiplication, we can write kinetic energy 2 is 1.21 times of kinetic energy 1, that's all. So first, what is the formula? Kinetic energy 2. Kinetic energy 2 means what? 1.21 times of kinetic energy 1. Okay, again minus kinetic energy 1, as usual, kinetic energy 1 divide by kinetic energy 1 into 100, that's all. So therefore kinetic energy 1 common, let's take outside. So kinetic energy 1 outside, remaining what? 1.21 minus 1, because kinetic energy 1 is came outside. அப்போ இந்த இடத்துல என்ன இருக்கும்? 1 மட்டும் இருக்கும். Divide by kinetic energy 1 then into 100. So kinetic energy 1 is cancelled. Okay, so the next step, I can write here. So here, therefore increasing kinetic energy is 1.21 minus 1 is 0.21, that is 0.21. Here 100 is there, here 100. So 0.21 into 100, that is 21%. So this is the answer. So finally we found 21%. So I'll say the question. See that when the momentum of the body increases by 10%, its kinetic energy is increases by how much percentage? 21%. So this is the answer. So This option is not here, so we want to choose none of these is the answer. Okay, it is very important question for 11th standard level. Okay, thank you.